When Boris Becker played, the whole world held their breath in anticipation of just what was he going to do. But have you heard the tales of how the tennis legend wasted $170 million? Hop in with us to the end of the video, because today we're going to bring you how Boris Becker wrecked his gigantic fortune. Some great players influence a large set of audiences and leave a legacy beyond their time. Boris Franz Becker belonged to that bracket of great players. With his distinctive style of play, the former world number one even had Sachin Tendulkar idolizing him. He was nicknamed Boom Boom, or Der Bomber, for his fast and well-placed serve. Once upon a time, he had the whole world at his feet, winning 49 singles titles and 15 doubles titles in professional tennis. But today, he serves his time in jail, reportedly teaching yoga to inmates. The story of how the life of the once mighty player fell into pieces is one that you probably don't want to miss out on. Boris Becker was born on the 22nd of November in 1967 in Leimen, a town in the German state of Baden-Württemberg, as the son of Elvira and Karl-Heinz Becker. His secondary education was from Helmholtz Gymnasium in Heidelberg. The early roots of tennis were planted in Becker at the tennis center in Leimen, found by his father, Karl-Heinz Becker. Becker joined TC Blau-Weiß's Leimen Tennis Club and began training tennis under Boris Becker in 1974. Becker turned professional in the year 1984 under the guidance of Romanian-born coach Gunther Bosch and Romanian manager Ion Tiriac. And he won his first professional doubles title later that year in Munich. At a junior level, he had already impressed, having won the South German Championship, German Youth Tennis Tournament, and Orange Bowl International Tennis Championships. After turning professional, he went on to win the Tennis World Young Masters at the NEC in Birmingham in 1985. A young 17-year-old Boris Becker then stunned the world by becoming the first unseeded player and the first German to win the Wimbledon singles title, defeating Kevin Curran in 4 sets. In the process, he became the youngest ever male Grand Slam singles champion at 17 years, 227 days. This is a record that stood until 1989. Becker then went on to defend his Wimbledon crown by defeating the world number one, Ivan Lendl, in straight sets. Ever since, the tennis career of Boris Becker has reached unprecedented peaks, winning 6 Grand Slam singles titles, 3 Wimbledon championships, 2 Australian Opens, and 1 US Open. Becker also won 3 year-end championships, 13 Masters titles, and an Olympic gold medal. Despite going through a severe mid-career decline due to problems in his personal life, Boris Becker still left the court having managed to win singles titles in 14 countries. Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, France, Germany, Italy, Japan, Netherlands, Qatar, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and United States. Tennis Magazine ranked Becker as the 11th best male player in the 1965 to 2005 period. His other professional awards include being the ITF World Champion in 1989, ATP Player of the Year in the same year, and ATP Most Improved Player in 1985. In 2003, he was inducted into the International Tennis Hall of Fame, and his tennis legacy was intact. In his spectacular career, Becker made about $38 million just from prize money and championships alone, roughly equivalent to $100 million in today's economy. After his retirement, Becker coached current world number one tennis player Novak Djokovic and worked as a BBC commentator. He took on several brand ambassador roles. He published his autobiography, competed in professional poker tournaments, and served for a time as the head of men's tennis at German Tennis Association. Tennis brought him quite a fortune indeed, as he amassed close to $170 million throughout his incredible career. So where did it all go wrong? How did the strawberry blonde boy who once stunned the world at 17 get jailed at the Southwark Crown Court for being guilty of bankruptcy offenses? How did the great life of a global superstar turn into colossal mayhem? Well, Boris himself claims his wealth substantially reduced post-retirement in 1999. This is fueled by a rather callous approach to handling finances, his luxurious lifestyle, and some shady business deals that went wrong. His advocate has described him as not a sophisticated individual when it comes to finances, and in one of the cases his court registrar said of the German, "One has the impression of a man with his head in the sand." He was caught in the tax evasion in the midst of all of these issues too. But one could say his financial problems started with his divorce settlements. In 2000, following a split, Becker reached an out-of-court settlement that his ex-wife Barbara would reportedly cost him about $12 million. His feud with the divorce settlement didn't end there though. In 2009, he announced his engagement to Dutch model Charlie Lily Kersenberg. They announced they were separating 9 years later. a year after the split, his wife, Becker, was ordered by the court to pay a multi-million-dollar settlement to a Russian model who gave birth to his daughter in 2001. The following year, the father of four was convicted of an attempt and conduct of tax evasion in Germany and owed around 800,000 euro in liabilities for the same. All this while, the former tennis legend's expensive lifestyle was taking a toll on his finances. This mainly included 22,000 euros a month for rent in a house that he stayed in Wimbledon. With his quick wit and his humor, despite the controversies, Becker continued to appear in TV shows and public events. Yet, his finances had already come under legal scrutiny. In 2002, a Munich court fined Becker 300,000 euros and handed him a 2-year suspended prison sentence for tax evasion of 1.7 million euros. While all of these trysts with fraud affected his finances, Boris Becker found himself at a new low after 15 years in 2017. On June 21st of 2017, he was declared bankrupt in London over an unpaid loan on his estate in Mallorca, Spain. Becker's bankruptcy arose from a 4.6 million euro loan from a private bank in 2013, as well as a $1.6 million loan borrowed from a British businessman the year after. According to testimony when he was at trial, while lawyers tried to save him by declaration of diplomatic immunity against further attempts to pursue him over the debt, those claims are proven to be fake. Boris was found to have transferred hundreds of thousands of pounds after his 2017 bankruptcy from his business account to other accounts, including those of his ex-wife Barbara and estranged wife Lily Becker. Becker was also convicted of failing to declare a property in Germany and hiding an 825,000 euro bank loan and shares in a tech firm. The bankruptcy forced Becker to sell all of his assets. In 2019, Becker's trophies and memorabilia were auctioned off. Later, it was reported that Becker was forced to auction off another 82 collectibles from his personal collection, including a Goldine Camera Award and his trophy from the 1989 US Open, in order to pay his creditors. That online auction raised 687,000 euros, according to the company dealing with bankruptcy. Meanwhile, claims against his legal misdoings continued to grow. In March 2022, with numerous charges assimilated to his name, his trial at Southwark Crown Court began. The jurors found Becker guilty of transferring 427,000 euros to 9 recipients, which included the bank accounts of his ex-wife Barbara and his estranged wife Lily Becker. He was also proven to have hidden assets under the declaration of bankruptcy. For his charges, Britain's Insolvency Act could rule him up to a maximum sentence of 7 years in prison. While at trial, a German news magazine famous for leaking secretive information, Der Spiegel released a report that stated Becker might have lost a substantial amount of money in his fortune due to dubious investments in Nigerian oil firms, including a single investment that was for over 10 million euros, or dollars and 8 million euros, rather. The investments were unsuccessful as they plunged in value in the long run, thus adding a final sparkle to Boris Becker's disastrous management of his finances. Eventually, the tennis great Boris Becker was sentenced to 2.5 years in prison by the jury and acquitted on 20 other counts, including charges that he failed to hand over his many awards, comprising 2 Wimbledon trophies and an Olympic gold medal. So what's the latest on Boris Becker today? Well, at 54 years of age, the former world number 1 spent his time reportedly teaching about 45 fellow inmates in fitness, nutrition, and crisis management at the Hunter Combe prison. His name and his fame have earned him a cell on his own, Category C, low security, and one that comes with a sports complex with a climbing wall, an AstroTurf pitch, cardiovascular fitness room. He's also said to be instructing other prisoners in a special type of yoga and meditation. And he shares the highs and lows in his life as a sportsman with his inmates. From the heights of being a world champion to the lows of prison life, his life really did go full circle. Boris Becker will forever remain an all-time great in the field of tennis, and he'll be remembered for his achievements on the court. Yet, with the wrong choices, Boris has made sure his life after retirement is far from illustrious. While his sporting career will always remain a model for generations to follow, his personal life is an ideal representation of what not to do with your fortune.